So let us start. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo, Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshal, Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. सिन्दूरारुणविग्रहां तृणयनामाणिक्यमौलीस्फुर तारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीमाबीनवक्षोरुहां पाणिभ्यामणिपूर्णरत्नचषकं रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रतीं सौम्यां रत्नगणस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत् परामम्बिकाम् ध्यायेत् पद्मासनस्तां विकसितवदनां पद्मवक्त्रायदाक्षीं हेमाभां पीतवस्त्रां करकलितलसत् हेमपद्मां वराङ्गीं सर्वालङ्कारयुक्तां सततमभयदां भक्तनम्रां भवानीं श्रीविद्यां शान्तमूर्तिं सकलसुरनुदां सर्वसम्पत्प्रदात्रीं सकुङ्कुमविलेपनामळिगचुम्बिकस्तूरिकां समन्दसिदेक्षणां ससरजापवाशाङ्कुशाम् अशेषजनमोहिनीं मरुणमाल्यभूषोज्ज्वलां जवाकुसुमबासुरां जपविदौ स्मरेदम्बिकाम् अरुणां करुणातरङ्गिताक्षीं धृतभाषाङ्कुशपुष्पबाणचापाम् अणिमादिविरावृतां मयूकैः अहमित्येव विभावये महेशी ॐ पराशक्ति नमः ॐ पराशक्ति नमः ॐ पराशक्ति नमः. So we will today go from 71 till 75, and if we have the chance in terms of time, we will go onwards from 76 to 80 also. So you will be having the individual names of Lalitha Tripura Sundari Devi, as we have chanted before. It is Om before the name and Namaha after the name. So we will start. Om Jwala Malinikatshipta Vanhi Pragara Madhyagayai Namaha. Om Bhanda Sainyavadodyukta Shakti Vikramaharshitayai Namaha. Om Nitya Parakramadopanirikshana Samulsukayai Namaha. Om Bhandaputravadodhyukta Bala Vikramanandidayai Namaha. Om Mandrinyamba Virajita Vishangavadadoshitayai Namaha. So we will look at all the names. We'll start with the first one, which is Jwala Malini Katshipta Vanni Praghara Madhyagayai Namaha. Jwala Malini Katshipta Vanni Praghara Madhyagayai Namaha. Now, Jwala Malini is actually the name of a goddess. Kakshipta, somebody who is created or thrown. Vanhi is fire. Prakara, the boundary. Madhyaga, Madhyaga means in the center. So the literal meaning is another name of Lalitha Tripura Sundari Devi. She who has taken position at the center of the fortress of fire created by the goddess Jwala Malini. Who is Jwala Malini? The goddess Jwala Malini. Jwala Malini is a person who throws Jwala. Jwala means fire. Jwala is she is the person who actually throws fire all around. So she creates a fortress made out of fire. The fortress made out of fire. And who is in the middle of this fortress? It is Devi who is in the middle of the fortress. What is the quality of fire? Fire is eternal. Fire is truth. They say that is the reason why if you look at our Hindu marriages, it is done as Agni Sakshi. Agni Sakshi, because fire is the only thing which is pure and that is and unpolluted, which is also the reason why in our Hindu homes we light lamps with oil, not candles, which is why we are against using candles in our bhajan mandali. We don't want candles to be seen anywhere near the bhajan mandali. That is not part of our culture. We want oil lit lamps, and these oil lit lamps, ideally the best oil which is used to burn is gingerly oil. So that is the oil which is used. So from this oil, and you burn this oil, this gingerly oil in fact purifies the air. That is why gingerly oil is used. Now you have a corrupted version of gingerly oil, which is recycled oil coming from different different extracts, probably of petrol for all you know, of crude oil for all you know, and they say that it is Sugandhi, and so that Sugandhi version which gives out some smell as well. What is that smell? That is also a phenol. So that is not good for you. So when you have to light a lamp, look for the purest form of gingerly oil and light the lamp in that gingerly oil, and that is the way you can purify your atmosphere at home. That is the best oil you can use to purify your atmosphere. And from this flame, that flame is the most pure form of flame. So the state of a jnani is like one of somebody who's learning, somebody who's trying to gain knowledge, is like that of fire. So you have sparks of flames coming in and attacking this person who is in pursuit of trying to achieve a liberated soul state. So for him to achieve that liberated soul state, what is preventing? The asuras are preventing. And these asuras are represented by the sense objects, and the jnani remains unruffled. The person who is trying to learn remains unruffled in the face of all the attacks by all these sense objects, which are in the form of flames attacking this person who's the jnani, who's right in the center of this circle of flame. If you remember, the fourth mantra was Chidagni Gunda Sambhuta. The fourth mantra was Chidagni Gunda Sambhuta. So that is a representation of Devi, because Devi came from that Chidagni Gunda. She came from the fire. She arose from that fire, and so therefore that is the name of Devi. Devi is at the center, right at the center of this fortress of fire. And because of the nature of Devi, Bhandasura cannot even look at her. Bhandasura, who is the Asura, who is our main antagonist in this whole story. So Bhandasura cannot even look at Devi. That is the nature of the strength of the fire. So Jwala Malini, if you recollect in the last discussion, we spoke about who this Nitya deities who are there for each of the half of the lunar month, each of the days of the half of the lunar month. So you have one deity each. So these are called as the Nitya deities, and these Nitya deities will be covered in the 73rd name of Lalitha Tripura Sundari. So Jwala Malini is the deity on the 14th day. Jwala Malini is the deity on the 14th day of the lunar half month. So Om Jwala Malini Kakshipta Vanni Pragara Madhyagayai Namaha. We'll go to the next one. Bhanda Sainya Vadodyukta Shakti Vikrama Harshita. Om Bhanda Sainya Vadodyukta Shakti Vikrama Harshitayai Namaha. Bhanda Sainya. What is Bhanda Sainya? Again referring to Bhandasura. Bhandasura Sainya, his army. What is his army? His army is complete sense objects. That is what his army is mainly. Yeah. And Vadhodyukta. Udyukta basically means prepared. By whom? Shakti Sainya. The army of Shaktis. Who are the army of Shaktis? That is the army of Devis. So these army of Devis are killing. Vadhodyukta. Vada means destroy. Vadodyukta Shakti Vikrama Harshita. Vikrama is valor or courage. And seeing this valor or courage, Devi is Harshita. She is delighted. Yeah. So if you look at the name, you have a lot of these Sanskritized names coming out these days. So next time you come across a friend of yours and her name is Harshita, then you can turn around and say, "Oh, Harshita, I know what that name means." Harshita basically means it means delighted. So all these things come out from Sanskrit. Every name these days is coming out, unless you are looking at some of the names coming out in Kerala, where if the father's name is Sunil and the mother's name is what is that, Shashikala or something like that. So the child's name will become Sunkala.
Susa.
Or Susha. It will be any name. They'll take the first bit of the father or the first bit of the mother and the second bit of the father. So you'll find a lot of funny names coming out of Kerala. That is something we have noticed. So you'll have names which absolutely have no sense at all, like Rijin, Tijin, Tojin. All these names will come. You just need to find out. Maybe Tojin might be father's name might be Tom, and mother's name might be Gina or something like that. So the child's name will become Tojin. So don't think too much of that. If you look at some of the names that are coming out, you will see the names have a lot of sense, which is names like Harshita, Nandita, Samutsuka, all these beautiful, beautiful words which come out from Sanskrit. Bhanda Sainya Vadodyukta Shakti Vikrama Harshita. She who rejoices at the valor of the Shaktis who are intent on destroying the forces of Bhandasura. Now, Banda, what is Banda? Banda is the Jiva that is bound to the senses and to the mind, which brings the senses and completely controls the mind. So you have the countless aspects of duality, and you are having, where is duality? Because Shakti is at the Mooladhara and Shiva is at the Agnya Chakra, at the Sahasrara Chakra. So Shakti has to go from Mooladhara and travel all the way up and attain Shiva. For the Shakti to attain Shiva, what happens from a state of duality, we come to a state of what is that? It's called as Advaita, right? Yeah, go past the state of duality. So from this, what basically that means is that the Devi rejoices at the power of the sadhak, the sadhana, the effort that a person who wants to improve and achieve this status of the unition of Shakti and Shiva, she sees that effort that the person puts and wants to achieve the ultimate experience that eradicates all forms of duality in that particular person. So if you look at Jiva has two forms of two levels of existence. The first level of existence called as Pashu Bhumika. First level of existence is called as Pashu Bhumika, which is the animal level. The animal, each person has got an animal instinct within themselves. It's called as the animal level. And in the animal level, the person is steeped in the real world, in the world of samsara sagara. So in that sort of a state, that person is completely immersed. The other level of existence is called as Pati Bhumika. The first one is Pashu Bhumika and the other one is Pati Bhumika. Pati Bhumika is a level where the level of the master, and the master is a person who is completely free of samsara. There is no involvement of the senses. The person is completely free of samsara, and this is the reason why Shiva is called as Pashupati. Shiva is called as Pashupati. Why Pashupati? Because he is the lord of the senses. He is the person who has become a master of the senses. The realization of the non-dual self is the process of Pashu becoming Pashupati. Whatever the path, reaching this supreme goal is the fulfillment of human life. That is the ultimate objective of every human, which is to reach the state where you become a completely liberated soul. Yeah, that is the whole objective of life. When you become to reach the supreme goal, where you start realizing Shiva, you come to a state where you become I am Shiva. So, Bhanda Sainya Vadodyukta Shakti Vikrama Harshitayai Namaha. She who rejoices at the valor of the Shaktis who are intent on destroying the forces of Bhandasura. The next one, Nitya Parakramadopa Nirikshana Samutsuka. Nitya Parakrama. Parakrama is again valor. You're talking of the valor. Atopa or Utopa is increase. Nirikshana means observe. Samutsuka, joyful or interested or happy. So, Nitya Parakramadopa Nirikshana Samutsuka. She who delights in seeing the might and the pride of her Nitya deities. This is a description of Lalitha Tripurasundari Devi. She who delights in seeing the might and the pride of her Nitya deities. We spoke about this. We have mentioned about the Nitya deities in two other occasions before. So each day of the lunar half month has got a Nitya deity. Nitya deity provide protection to Devi. Who is Devi? Devi is manifestation of time. Somebody else also said he is manifestation of time, if you remember. Somebody else also said. Who said that? Lord Krishna said. What did he say? Aham kalosmi. He said that I am time. Lord Krishna said that I am time. So just like that, Devi is also saying that she is also time. Yeah, that Devi is the manifestation of time. So Devi is very pleased with all the work done by the Nitya deities. And what do? They demolish all they destroy the demons such as Bhanda, Damanaka, etc. Yeah. And what do these people do? What do these asuras do? These asuras actually stop a person's ascend. Stop a person's ascend from a state of from the lower state to a higher state. Yeah. So self-realization is stopped and by these demons. So what are these deities? These deities are Kameshwari, Bhagamalini, Nityaklinna, Berunda, Vanhivasini, Mahavidyeshwari, Dhuti, Twarita, Kulasundari, Nilapataka, Vijaya, Sarvamangala, Jwala, Malini, and Chitra. So those of you who have friends with all these names, you can tell them. So if you have a friend who is called Chitra, tell her, okay, Chitra, you didn't know that your name is that of a Devi, Malini, yeah, Dhuti, Twarita. All this is a little tough because the Vijaya, for sure, you would have come across a friend of yours with that name Vijaya. Sarvamangala, what a beautiful name. Bhagamalini, Nityaklinna, Vanhivasini. Yeah. So all these are the beautiful names of Devis, these Nitya deities, who are the people who are supposed to have killed these 15 demons. 15 demons. All these 15 demons are inside us. Don't think that these demons are outside. These demons are inside us. In this, there is a name which is given to this, which is if I let me try and get the exact exact usage that is there, which will come later. The birds, there are the sense objects, referring to the sense objects, they are enclosed in this thinking cage that is called the body. That is the exact words that are used. In this stinking cage that is called as the body. And so you might think that, Arey, mera to saaf hai, dusron ka, the other person has got a stinking cage. My cage is very, very clean and very nice. Sorry, everybody's status is the same. Nobody is in a better or an exalted state yet. You will get there someday. But right now, nobody is in that exalted state. And the more punya karma you do, lesser the chance of your going in the wrong direction, or in terms of putting your feet in the hellfire. So lesser the chance of your putting your feet in that. So what is Nitya? Nitya is the eternal power of the self. And the aggressive nature referred to is the mighty willpower dedicated to the struggle for gaining knowledge of the self. They say that any path of trying to achieve self-realization is like riding on the racer's edge. It's like riding on the racer's edge, because it's a very sharp, very straight, very fast road. And you make one mistake, then the fall will be very steep. It's like the snakes and ladder game that we play. You're going ascending, and the time you think you have reached the top, that is when a snake is going to bite you and you come crashing down. We've come across this in so many people, so many great sages, so many learned people even in our contemporary generation also. So many learned people, when they fall, the fall from grace is very, very intense. Now, I'm telling this in specific reference to some of the some of the things that we do, as in especially in this WhatsApp generation. We have this habit of degrading our own Hindu, the learned people. I'm talking of the Hindu gurus that are present today. So one of the things that we forward ever so often is probably about Nityananda, and we as Hindus mock our own Hindu gurus Nityananda. I really don't see that as a good trend, because at the end of the day, if Nityananda was such a bad person, you will not have millions and millions of people following that person. Millions of people are following Nityananda. I've got people who I've got classmates, not a classmate, junior of mine, who kicked his job at Microsoft, and his brother kicked his job at Oracle. They kicked their jobs to come and follow Nityananda. One person manages his temple in the United States, in New York. Another person manages his temple in Bangalore. So these are from my school, Salila. Is our junior. You probably might not know him. His name is A.C. Surendran. A.C. Surendran manages the temple in New York, and his younger brother A.C. Narendran manages the temple in the setup back in Bangalore. Their followers, they've given up. Why have they given up? They must have seen something in Nityananda. In fact, one of our people also forwarded recently, when there was this war, and one of the people turned around and made a comment about the discussion that happened, and they forwarded this commonly heard philosophy of Nityananda, which talks of this me in me talking to me. You must have heard that one, and that's probably the biggest joke that was going around town when it came out. But what people do not understand is the philosophy behind that. The philosophy behind that is very intensive. Even I used to, when I saw that, I also laughed at it. I also laughed because that is my ignorance showing up. So when we think of the fact that there are hundreds of thousands and millions of people who are following this gentleman called Nityananda, this guru called Nityananda, I think for a minute you should stop and just put your palms together and thank him also for bringing all the Hindus together under the umbrella of Sanatana Dharma. It is not just Nityananda. There are hundreds of people, so many, tainted people, people who are tainted, and people who turn around and say that, they've done, the crowd likes, especially we Hindus, like to pull down our own people. As a start, let this, 5-10 people who are here stop it and start respecting Hindu gurus, whoever they are. Let us respect them. In fact, I was told that Sri M is coming. Now, I follow Sri M. I follow Mata Amritananda. I am a devotee of Mata Amritananda. I am her disciple. But I also follow Sri M. It's not that I go behind Sri M. I follow Sri M. I don't know how many of you know Sri M. Sri M is actually a Muslim. But he is so well versed in the Vedas and the scriptures. So we have to respect that as well. Yeah. So I'm digressing completely, but what we need to know, what we need to remember is that we have to respect those people who have taken every effort to become where they are on the stage of Sanatana Dharma. I asked this question, in fact, in my school group also. Suppose I decide that tomorrow I am going to give up my entire family, or I say I am a self-realized soul, and then I say that my name is not Manoj anymore, and I am Manojnananda. So my name is no longer Manoj, my name is Manojnananda. How many people are going to come behind me? Okay, our Bhajan Mandali group, maybe they will say, okay, no problem, this person is maybe a little better, maybe 5-10 people will come and talk to me. But suppose I sit there like this, standing there, how many people are going to come? 5, maybe 10 people. That's all. Over. With that, it's over. If there are millions coming, that means there is something more. So they are definitely elevated souls, much more than us normal people out here. So this fight which we have inside us is a constant fight between good and evil, and we have to ensure. And what Devi says is that she sees this fight going on within the individual, and she appreciates the fight. And who is aiding this fight? These Nitya Devis. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Om Bandaputra Vadodyukta Bala Vikramanandita. Bandaputra Vadodyukta Bala Vikramanandita. Bandaputra is Bandasura's Putra, children. How many children did he have? He had 30 sons. Bandasura had 30 sons. Yeah. Now these are not actually 30 sons, but there is an explanation coming for that as well. Vadodyukta, again Udyukta, the name coming up again, the meaning which basically puts up or whatever. Vadho means to kill. Bala refers to Bala Tripura Sundari. Vikrama, valor. Nandita, delighted. Nandita basically means delighted. She who delights in seeing the valor of the goddess Bala, who is intent on killing the sons of Banda. So there are 30 sons of Banda, and Bandaputra Vadodyukta Bala Tripura Sundari kills these 30 sons. Now, there are several sons of Bandasura, which we talked about. These sons can be the 30 days of the month. Each day, one of the sons tries to make this samsara bound jiva more and more intoxicated and conceited. So we try and become more and more intoxicated and more conceited. Intoxicated doesn't mean drunk, no. Intoxicated with desire, intoxicated with the sensuous desires, especially. So those things, not just sensuous desires, kama, krodha, lobha. So with jealousy, with anger, with all these aspects which you are not supposed to have, these things come into us. And these things, when they come into us, what does it do? It binds the soul and ensures that the soul does not move towards bliss. So this Bala Tripura Sundari is said to be how old? 9 years old. And the seeker is actually in a state of sadhana and does not know the difference between night and day. does not know the difference between night and day, which is the 30 days of the month. 30 days of the month means, so the person who's practicing sadhana is not particularly bothered. Continues, overcomes these 30 days of 30 days that is stated by the sons of Bhandasura. Yeah. So once the person goes past this, Devi is very delighted to see this. Bhandaputra Vadodyukta Bala Vikrama Nandita. She who delights in seeing the valor of the goddess Bala, who is intent on killing the sons of Bhanda. Now, they say that, especially for the Keralites here, one of the interpretations is that Bala Tripura Sundari is supposed to be the goddess of Kerala. Bala Tripura Sundari is the goddess of Kerala, because we follow the Bhagavati, which is generally most of the temples, most of the families follow a Bhagavati tradition. So this Bhagavati tradition altogether emanated from the goddess of Kerala, which is Bala Tripura Sundari. And Parashurama is the person who is supposed to have carved out the state of Kerala. How did he carve it out? He threw the axe, and when he threw the axe, from that the sea retreated. It's supposed to have been dredged out, and from that was formed the state of Kerala. When it was formed, when that state of Kerala, you can imagine, when you dredge out, what happens to the salt, to the sand? The sand is the ocean sand, and what is there in the ocean sand? There is a lot of salt, and because of the presence of a lot of salt in the ocean sand, what happened was there were a lot of nagas or snakes came in and completely consumed that salt and made this a fertile land. So that is why they say that if you look at the temples in Kerala, you look at the entire landscape of Kerala, it is completely dotted with a lot of Naga temples also. Temples dedicated to snakes. So that is why you have temples dedicated to snakes, and it is also carved out from the sea. Yeah, there is more in terms of the history how people came, because there is a lot of connection between people in Sri Lanka and people in Kerala. That is the history of Kerala. That is not a subject for today's discussion anyway. Bhandaputra Vadodyukta Bala Vikrama Nandita. We will do the last one for today, which is Mantrinyamba Virachida Vishanga Vadadoshita. Mantrinyamba Virajita Vishanga Vadadoshita. Om Mantrinyamba Virajita Vishanga Vadadoshitayai Namaha. So, who is that? Mantrinyamba, Mantrini Amba, Mantrinyamba, Virajita, executed. Vishanga, there are two brothers of Bhandasura, one who was born out of his right shoulder and one who was born out of his left shoulder. So the one who was born out of his left shoulder is Vishanga. The one who was born out of the right shoulder is Vishukra. So these are the two brothers of Bhandasura. So what happened here? Vishanga Vada Doshita. Vada means kill. Doshita, happy. Toshita. Devi was happy seeing the execution of Vishanga. Yeah. She who rejoices at the destruction in battle of the demon Vishanka by the Mantrini Shakti. So you had Bhandasura, who had lot of different types of demons, and he had these two brothers of Bhandasura. The left shoulder was Vishanga and the right shoulder was Vishukra. Yeah. Out of this, Vishanga was killed by Shamalamba, the Mandrini Shakti. Yeah. The minister Shakti. Now, if you look at the name Vishanga, Vishanga has a name. Vishanga is a name. If you look at Vishanga, it can mean the opposite of Satsanga. Satsanga means good company. Vishanga means wrong company. Yeah. So this is attachment to worldly objects, and when this attachment happens, the jiva, the life force, is completely in bondage. When the life force is in bondage, the chances of ascension is not going to happen. So you should always live in a state of detached attachment. Detached attachment. If you are in a state of detached attachment, then there is a good chance that you will be able to become a you will be able to become a self-realized soul, or an ascended or a liberated soul. So if that is your objective, you should go in for detached attachment. The minute you have a complete attachment in life, there is no way you are going to progress. No way. In fact, in the Srimad Bhagavatam also, this is being referred to, right? In where a person is they say that when you die, if you start thinking of your cats, of your pets, your dogs, and all these things in your Jatabarada, yeah. So in the Jatabarada story, the thought was about
when he was taking bath, he saw a deer, and
started thinking about the deer, taking care of the deer, Palana Poshana. So ultimately, what happened?
When he died, he thought of the deer.
When he died, he thought of the deer and became a deer. So they say, that is why they say that always the name of the Lord should be on your lips. So even there is a case of a man who became completely went in the wrong way. He went in the Ajamila Moksham. Yeah, so he went in the direction of his senses. But the only good thing that he did was his son's name was Narayana. His son's name was Narayana. So when he was dying, he called out his son. He didn't call Narayana. He did not call to the Lord. He called out his son's name. Because he called out his son's name, Ajamila got moksha. So Ajamila moksham happened because of the calling out his son's name. So that is why they say that every time on your lips, you should have the name of the Lord, and not the name of your pet Billy, Chuhu. Oh, no, that is not what you should have in your lips. You should have the name of the Lord always on your lips. Yeah. So Vishanga versus, this is the opposite of Satsanga, and the jiva is in bondage. The other meaning of Vishanga is the Visha Anga. Visha means poison. So that is basically means it is poisonous in essence. In essence itself, it is poisonous. So every worldly enjoyment will seem like nectar at first. Everything will seem like nectar. The more you go deeper and deeper into it, that is when you will realize that there is no nectar in it. The only nectar is when you achieve self-realization. The ultimate state of bliss happens when you start God realization. So that is when you will be able to achieve more in life and become more of a liberated soul. In this case, the Mantrini Shakti kills this Vishanga, and Devi is pleased with this destruction. So this brings us to the 75th, and we will stop at the 75th because it's already almost 10 minutes past 8 in Dubai, and it is 9:40 here in India, close to 9:40 here in India. So let us close. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Lokaha Samastaha Sukino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Karacharanakritam va kayajam karmajam va shravananayanajam va manasam va paradam vidam avidam va sarvamedakshamasva. Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho. Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho. Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho. Om